frames and it gives me the lowest input to them. Uncut mode FPS at 165 as I do have a 144 Hz monitor.
Hold on.
Monitor, make sure to cap the FPS at 240 FPS. Now my brightness isn't 120 FPS because I feel like it is better for content and I do like my game this bright. At this moment in time I do have charge note 8 on, but it just starts to strain my eyes, so I do notice that having it off is a little better for me. Now the reason I have charge note 8 on is because my game is a little dull without it, especially because chapter 3 does not really seem to work as it was in the previous seasons. Its movie resolution is on 100%, however if you're struggling to get a lot of frames on 100%, cap that at 86% lowest. Just give you a little fuzzy feel of the game. I do notice that the game runs a lot smoother with this setting turned on, and the graphics still look pretty decent. I'm not really noticing too much, especially while building and editing. When I stand still, I can start to notice a little bit. Yeah, if you are struggling to get FPS on 100%, make sure to just go down to 86%. It should fix it for you. Now my video since my textures are on low, this will give you the most FPS. However, I have heard when you have your textures on medium or high, it allows the GPU to work more than the CPU, which will sort of balance out your PC's load. Now VSync I have turned on, Sure FPS I have turned on, and obviously...
Yo guys, Code Life here. And then also, if you want to help me out, alright guys, so first things first, and then if okay, what kind, and then here you and make sure that you uncheck read only with edit, and boom, here we are in the config in itself to make some awesome changes. Alright, so the first thing to change is the V show grass option. You want to change this from the default option true to be on false instead. The reason for why we're doing this is it basically disables the grass from showing. Uncheck read only. We will check this again once we've finished making the changes, but for now, we've actually made the changes, we need to uncheck it. So once you've done that, press apply. Alright, so the first thing to change is the B show grass option. You want to change this from the default option true, be on false instead. The reason for why we're doing this is it basically disables the grass from showing, which increases FPS. As you can see, this one looks like without any grass, and this does increase your FPS big time, as you can see right here. Obviously, you can imagine how. Next up, we've got display gamma. You want to change this from the default option 2.2 be around 2.5 instead. I myself, guys, I recommend slightly increasing the gamma, as what this does is it increases brightness a little bit. And if you didn't know already, the default 2.2 in Fortnite is to be around 2. As you can see, this one looks like without any grass, and this does to be around 2. Increasing the gamma / brightness in Fortnite Chapter 3 right now is the best option, as I think it looks the best. But feel free, guys, to mess around with this value for yourselves. I recommend going between 2.5 to like 2.7. I think that is a good amount of brightness. Next up, we've got B disable mouse acceleration. You want to go ahead and change this from the default value true to be on false. The reason we want to do this, guys, is because this will disable mouse acceleration inside of Fortnite. Now, some say it doesn't work, but just to be on the safe side, guys, I highly recommend doing this, because if you haven't already, mouse acceleration adjusts your cursor based on the speed you move your mouse, which means the faster you move your mouse, the more your cursor will move. So it's pretty much artificially speeding up your mouse, which you don't want, as that affects aim big time. So just to be safe, I know some people think it doesn't work, and it might not, but I always like to just make sure it's disabled to be on the safe side. Oh, as well as that, guys, it's really important that you disable the enhanced pointer precision inside of your Windows settings. Do
you want more followers and views on TikTok or not? Obviously you do. That's why you watch my YouTube content. So you need to...
It's also a form of mouse acceleration. In order to disable this, just got to go on your desktop like this, go into the Windows mouse settings right here. If you just type in mouse settings, click on that, and then once you're in this tab right here, you want to select additional mouse options, click on the pointer options tab, and then you want to uncheck the box next to enhanced pointer precision, and that will turn it off. Moving on, we've got the resolution tabs right here. As you can see, I'm currently using the native resolution, that's 1920 by 1080, and that's because it's really popular right now. But I know some people out there are choosing to use stretched resolution. It's starting to make a big return, because it does obviously boost your FPS massively, and it does also make the player models really big too, which does improve aim. I talked about it all in this video on screen. Most pros though have been rocking the stretched resolutions 1656 by 1080. But saying that, pros like Martaz have also tried going really stretched, so going way far down, and using stretched resolutions like 1400 by 1050. And if you guys want to try out that stretched resolution for yourselves, I recommend checking out this video on screen. I'll leave a link in the description below. Next up, we've got frame rate limit, and for this, guys, I highly recommend capping your FPS just to have the most stable FPS you can, especially going into late game of Fortnite. The general rule of thumb is to match your FPS with your monitor's refresh rate. So if you've got a 144Hz monitor, cap it to 144 FPS. Same with the 240Hz monitor, cap it to 240Hz, and then with the 360Hz monitor, cap it to 360 FPS. But I know for a lot of you guys out there, you have a G-Sync monitor and you use the G-Sync feature or the equivalent on AMD. So this, guys, to reduce any sort of screen time going on, you want to make sure that you cap your FPS at these values on screen. For a 144Hz monitor, you want to make sure that that is on 141 FPS. 240Hz, you want to go 237 FPS. For 360Hz, you want to go 357 FPS. Again, this is only if you are on a G-Sync monitor. It's best to go a couple or maybe a few frames. The reason for why this is, I did a video all about it. For the rest of these options, I highly recommend turning them all to 0. But except the view distance one and the textures one. For view distance one, you can go as far as you want with this one. Obviously, you'll get enemies at a lot longer range, but you will get slightly less FPS, so that's completely up to you. And for the textures one, I highly recommend setting this one to medium, or rather to the value number 2, as that's supposed to give you a slight FPS boost compared to the low option. And by putting textures to medium, this will make your GPU work a little bit harder and will give your sort of CPU a bit more rest, so overall your PC will perform a lot better using textures on medium. Next up, we've got performance mode, and a few of you may be thinking, can't it just change this in the in-game settings? And yes, you can, but we also can change it in the game user settings config. All you have to do is change that D3D option to false, and that'll put the performance mode on. Then underneath it, this is where you actually change the meshes. So you can either go high meshes or low meshes. I myself, guys, I did a video comparing the two on screen right here, so I'd highly recommend watching that link below. But for this option, guys, you can change it to whatever you want. You can have high meshes or you can have low. It's completely up to you, whichever you prefer. And yeah, guys, that right there is the best game user.
not with you, I'm not with you, I'm not with you, I'm not with you, I'm not with you. Bro, I hit this kid for 32 with a gold purple pump, bro. How I stand this dude, then hit him 34. Like, this is exactly why nobody likes this game. But I'm still gonna play it, but still, like, oh gosh, man. Let me see, window opacity.
Por idiota. También qué tontita, güey. Para que no quede en la mañana y ya.
I know you stole something from me. I don't know what it was, but you stole something. Let me shut up. I sound stupid. I'm here. I just got beamed. If you need heals, come to me. Oh, never mind, buddy. Cover. People can get healed through the walls? I'm coming. I'm your life support. That's what I want to do. Bro, oh my gosh, somebody had the shotgun to make me fall. Like, I was about to kill him too. I'm dead.